back. This past year, we've navigated through the challenges of this pandemic, and in today's day and age, technology has really played a huge role in our response. Many schools across the country turning to e-learning, teaching remote classes, and having students sent home with laptops. But with the good also comes the bad, and many parents with or without a pandemic worry about their children's mental health, what they may be searching for online, and what kind of behavior they're taking part in on the internet. A different worry and a sign of the times, but nonetheless something that must be talked about. So we reached out to local school districts to find out what they're doing to keep your kids safe. In Manatee County, we have yet to hear back from the school district on what measures they have in place for computers, whether they're at school or for devices that are used personally by students for things like homework or e-learning. And in Sarasota County, we asked the school district what type of software and security it has in place. A spokesperson for the district did tell us that there are web page blockers in place to keep inappropriate material from being accessed, among some other measures there. And also a new product is out on the market that helps curb these threats to students. That software detects specific keywords that are linked to self-harm, bullying, and school violence. Joining us now to discuss is Eileen Shihadeh, Chief Marketing Officer of Lightspeed Systems. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So first, tell us more about the need for software like this in a time when students have access to so much on the internet.
Yes. Lightspeed recently commissioned a study of over 2,000 parents of school-aged children, and the results were astounding. We found that 93% of parents were concerned about their child's mental health. 71% said their child's mental health is worse than ever, and an astounding 56%, over half of parents, indicated that their child was showing symptoms of depression. So this is really a call to action for us as a community to do something about it.
So your program there, tell us more about how it specifically works in regards to some of those keywords that kids may be searching for.
Sure. So Lightspeed Systems is a nation's leader in online safety technologies, and we do that in two ways. We help protect 20 million students, about 1 out of 3 Florida districts, in a couple of ways. The first is Lightspeed Filter, which you were mentioning, blocks inappropriate kids from accessing inappropriate content online, whether that's advertently or inadvertently, things like adult websites or violent websites. The second is Lightspeed Alert, and that uses AI technology, artificial intelligence, to scan for online indicators of self-harm, suicide, bullying, and school violence.
Interesting. Okay, so that second one, when you say it scans for those using AI technology, how does that work?
So the AI technology will flag concerning online behavior, whether that's something that the students typed in chat or in an email or a Google search term. From there, once the AI has flagged that online activity, it comes to our Lightspeed Safety Specialist team. Actually, it simultaneously goes to the school district as well as to the Lightspeed Safety Specialist team to review. The safety team does a review. If the risk is deemed imminent, then we take the additional step of calling the district to ensure that they've seen the alert come through, that they are actively working the case so that they can act in a timely manner to intervene.
Okay, so here in Florida where we are, do you know how many schools are using programs like this specifically, and maybe how often these alerts are being flagged?
So in the 2021 school year, nationwide, we saw over 280,000 alerts for self-harm and violence. We partner with 1 out of 3 districts in Florida to protect their kids. So this is a widespread concern, and we're finding from our side, from reviewing the alerts that are coming across, it is consistent with what parents have told us in the study.
That was actually going to be, what I wanted to talk with you also about is, the reaction. What's that been from schools and parents? It's a critical way, really, for them to kind of intervene. What have they told you, and what have you heard from them?
Absolutely. We've had such moving cases come across. There was just recently a student in Pennsylvania who searched on how long does it take to die by hanging. That alert was seen by both and issued to the school district and also seen by Lightspeed. And the school district called the police, who went over to the child's home, and they found the child in the room with a noose and were able to intervene in time. We've seen cases with children as young as 9 contemplating suicide, and our system alerting on those instances. So it really is a critical component right now of ensuring that we're keeping a pulse on our students. When mental health is at an all-time low, we have an ongoing societal challenge of school shootings. And let's face it, kids are spending more and more time online. And I don't know about your viewers' kids, but my kids, they don't tell me when I ask how their day is about every interaction they've had and all the detail around that. So I think it's really critical that we're keeping a pulse on using online technology to get that whole picture of what's happening with our children.
Well, I'm interested to know, we're talking about these school devices. What about kids who may have personal devices, and that's an entirely different approach? They may be searching on their phone on Google. Is there some sort of way that can be monitored and filtered as well?
So Lightspeed partners with the school district, so it's not something that parents purchase, okay. But my kids are learning remotely right now. They're at home and we're using personal devices, but when they do their schoolwork, they are logging in to our district's portal and they're accessing Google Classroom and things like that. And in doing so, they are then extended the protection that Lightspeed offers with the artificial intelligence scanning.
Okay, so even if it's on a personal device, but it's through the school district. Got it. Okay, so we've touched a little bit on mental health and how that really plays a role in some of this. Some students searching ways, as you mentioned, to harm themselves, maybe even being cyberbullied. And on top of that, we've got challenges that have been plaguing our country for years now with school shootings. So how does this conversation kind of change from just talking about it and talking about ways that we can fix it to actually doing something?
Yes. So in emergency management, there are 4 key components. There's prevention and mitigation, preparation, things like school drills for active shootings, response, the protocols, who's going to do what and how is that reaction going to take place, and then of course the recovery. We need to be shifting the conversation much more towards the prevention and mitigation. Schools have taken great steps in the other areas. There's always more to do, but we need to shift that conversation to prevention. In fact, a 2019 study by the U.S. Secret Service showed that 75% of school shooters had concerning online behavior prior to the attack. So systems like Lightspeed that can scan for and alert on these concerning online behaviors are a critical component in our safety measures to ensure that we're mitigating incidents before they even happen. So before we get to the preparation and response phase, we're talking about being able to identify and stop these incidents from happening.
A huge role there. Well, lastly, before we go, Eileen, things have really changed on this front in regards to internet safety in the past decade. What do you expect is next as you all do try to keep students safe from all that is out there on the internet?
Absolutely. Well, with machine learning and artificial intelligence, we're constantly getting smarter, as are the kids, as they come up with ways to try to circumvent these systems. So, we're always trying to keep one step ahead, and luckily we have some incredible developers who are working on that artificial intelligence. So as the environment evolves and as the kids get smarter, so will we.
Wonderful. Okay, Eileen, thank you so much for joining us and sharing more details with us on this technology this evening.
Thank you.
Well, stay with us. When we come back, we're going to hear from a child crime expert who's got some tips and advice for parents and school leaders on ways to help keep kids safe online. We'll be right back.